Hey guys, welcome to The Scoop, where we have real locker room talk with real athletes and coaches. I'm Perfect Pervis, and joining me is the owner of Athletes Forum, Jamal Clay, as well as today's guest athlete, Jadrian Clark. And before we even get started, we like to, give Jadrian his roses at the beginning of the show. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through Jadrian Clark's resume. Let's talk about Jadrian Clark if you don't know him, okay? This guy played at Weber State University. Am I saying it right with Weber State?
That's correct,
okay.
Yeah.
I know it's a good school. I've seen it everywhere, but I've never pronounced it before. He's played in both Germany and Austria in top leagues, GFL 2, GFL 1, as well as AFL in Austria. In his career, his short career, this guy has only played, 4 seasons? 3 games in Austria. Yep. He has 12,000 passing yards. And that's not a typo. I did the math. I went and searched the league for damn near 4,000 yards every year. He has 190 total touchdowns. That's including his rushing touchdowns because this guy got wheels. Okay, the 2020 Austrian League champion went over to Vienna, got a ship back in Germany. 3-time GFL passing leader, 3-time German division champion. He has won the GFL 1 North Division and South Division. And the GFL 2 South Division, right? With Kirchdorf. Just make sure I'm getting it right. All right. He has over 1,000 rushing yards in his career. Like I said, he got wheels. Interesting stat. This guy has a 64% career completion rate. Like he's completing passes at 64% of the time. That's insane.
That's nuts.
Because you can't always be on a good team, or you can't know what your receivers and defenses are going to be like. That's a really high percentage in the highest leagues in Europe. That's where this guy is.
He's not just dinking and dunking either. Obviously, the 12,000 passing yards, he's pushing the ball down the field.
He's putting in work. He's the 190 touchdowns. That's what you got to look at. That's in 4 years. He's averaging almost 50 passing touchdowns a season on a 16-game season out there in Germany. Dude's putting up numbers, I tell you. Also, 2018, he had a GFL semifinals appearance. 2019, went to the German Bowl. 2018, GFL All-Star selection. 2017, GFL promotion winner. He's the reason Kirchdorf got into the GFL 1. And last thing I will say about Jadrian Clark is in his career, he has 1 reception for 13 yards. He does it all. He even catches passes. I thought that stat was really nice. If you don't know the guy, he started with Kirchdorf Wildcats. Are they Wildcats? Yeah, yep. Kirchdorf Tom and Jerry is what I like to call him. Then he moved his way up to the New Yorker Lions and played with Schladers Hall for 2 seasons. 2020 got cut short. He goes to Vienna, plays with Dacia Vikings, wins championship, and now he will be playing for the Hamburg Sea Devils in the inaugural ELF season. Did I get it right? Did I get it all right?
Yeah, man, that was a lot of info. I appreciate all the kind words by you guys both. I've been around a few different places, and now I'm excited to be in Hamburg.
That's awesome, man. So we're going to jump right into it as we always do. And first topic that we want to talk about today is why do some imports fail to have success in Europe? And we really want to get your feedback on this, Jadrian, because you have had success in the 3 or 4 seasons that you've played, 4 seasons, 4 years pretty much. You've continually, added more success to your resume, but we have seen a lot of guys who haven't been able to have that success. There's been a lot of guys coming and going every year. With you being able to, have the roadmap to it, why do you think some imports don't have success when they come to Europe to play football?
Well, I think that guys coming over to Europe have to first and foremost come with the right mindset. It's a different culture. It's a different setup. Your living circumstances are going to change. The sport itself is even a little bit different. Practicing times are different. Everything is different, even though it's still the same sport. So if you don't come with the right mindset and the ability to kind of just adapt and go and you're going to run into some problems and maybe rub some people the wrong way, or, maybe have a bad attitude about some of the things that you think aren't quite up to the standard and level that you were used to in the States. So first and foremost, I think you just got to come with the right mindset. And then also you got to come over here understanding that it's not, at least in the past, I think in the future it's headed this way, but in the past it hasn't been completely professionalized. And you kind of just have to understand what that is, that what you're getting into. And your job is more than to just come over here and ball out. You also have to be a good teammate and help grow the youth team as well as even some of your teammates and help them improve day in and day out at practice. So I think those are the two biggest things that you have to do to find success over here.
What are your thoughts on it,
Yeah.
Jamal?
Yeah, and I think managing your expectations when you're coming over here, like you're not going to come over here and think you're going to reinvent the wheel, or you're going to teach things to players that, may have worked for you, because what may have worked for you may not have worked for them, essentially. So I think it's managing your expectations and, coming in with an open mindset, like, all right, like, yeah, I'm coming to play football, but like, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into until you actually come over here and you're experiencing it firsthand.
Yes.
So I'd say managing the expectations is definitely the top priority when you're coming over here. Because again, it's not college. It's not, what we played in the States. So things are going to be different. And I mentioned it before, like your first practice may be in the horse barn. Like you just don't know what you're getting yourself into.
I've seen a lot of different types come out here. I mean, myself included. Guys will come out here and like you said, Jamal, they don't know what to expect. And similar to what you said, Jadrian, they get out here and they're told, like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And some guys, they get out here and they're like, oh, you want me to coach youth? Love it. That's in my wheelhouse. And then you got some guys, I mean, myself included. Anytime a team told me coach youth, I was like, is there another way? Can I go clean some stalls or something? Like that wasn't my deal. Like I had a team when I was in Finland. Instead of coaching the youth, I was the game announcer for the women's team. Like that was more something that I could do, mixing the tunes and talking a little bit about who on the field. But, teaching the small kids from another country, it wasn't my thing. But you have guys who come out here, and I guess what we're talking about is the guys that don't have success are the guys who don't adapt. And when I say success, I'm not even talking about, going back home. I'm talking about guys who come out here, stay out here, and still don't have success. Like you have guys who will come out here and say, oh, I want to live in Europe, but I don't want to, adapt to my surroundings. I don't want to do what teams want me to do. So, I'm going to play on a different team every year for a shitty amount of money in hopes that it gives me a come up, even though I'm not worth anything. And I'm losing value every year because I'm getting a reputation. Those guys that are continually to fail like that, they hurt the sport. They make it hard for the Jadrian Clarks of the world to, keep succeeding. Yeah. I mean, that's your biggest competition is that every year there's going to be some guy that he's in the same position. He can help the sport move forward, but instead he decides to be selfish and do his own thing. And now we have a black eye sitting right there. And what I'm talking about, guys, is these are guys who are in Europe. Like, this isn't people that get sent home. Like, there's people that are actively, playing on teams, getting contracts, and continually to slow down the growth of the sport because they refuse to get on board with what needs to be done by players in this sport, in this realm,
I think just feeding off what you're saying is that, like, another reason why imports in general, why they fail in Europe is because, like, they either coming over thinking it's, all right, I'm going to use this opportunity to get wherever to the next level. And again, they're not managing their expectations, or they don't take it serious. And, you come over and you don't take it serious, then the club will send you home, like with no hesitation. So this is not, I mean, granted, it's an awesome experience. It's an awesome opportunity, but at the end of the day, you're also here to work and you have a job. And if you're not performing, the club will shoot your ass right back to where you came from.
As you guys were both talking, something else came to my mind too, just to carry on with what you guys are saying. And I think even I struggled with this my first year, and I've gotten a lot better at it, is you go through high school and college football and you have all this structure. You have your whole day set up for you.
Yeah.
You got to be here, this and that. And then you get over here and it's like, figure it out. And that's kind of hard, right? Like to be told, you got practice twice a week. Everything else is on you. Here's a gym card. Here's your transportation card or bike or car. Figure it out. It's like, whoa, do you want to lay in bed and watch Netflix all day? Do you want to go and get extra work in? Do you want to wake up, stay up all night and talk to people back home? There's so many different ways that you can spend your time. And I think what's allowed me to have some successes about midway through my first year. I had some good roommates, and we started getting on a better schedule of, okay, we're going to wake up at this time. We're going to have breakfast. We're going to go to the gym. And I think forcing myself to create my own structure is what's allowed me to have my success. And I think some guys fail to do that, and that might be part of why they don't succeed.
And feeding off what you're saying, people may not know in Europe is that, like, when you're in college in the States and you're playing a collegiate sport, like, literally from the first day you step on campus to the day you leave, every single day is planned for you. Whether you know it or not, every single day is planned for you. So, Jadrian, like you're saying, when you come over and it's like, all right, this is your job. At the same time, you got to do what you got to do, but everything else is on you in terms of free time. It's like, oh, shit. Like, what time do I want to go to the gym? Do I want to sleep in? Like, do I want to go out? Like, you're a professional, so to say, so you got to be able to manage your time correctly. So just bouncing off what you were saying, Jadrian.
Time management. That's something that I know you guys probably just like me. Time management is the first thing your academic advisor told you when you got in college was that, you're going to have to play football all these hours and wake your ass up and go to this 8 a.m. class, or don't schedule classes at this time because you're going to want to rest. And you're going to have to figure out a way that even though you have to lift weights on Sunday, you also have to study for a test. Time management. My coaches were constantly telling me time management throughout college. And then you get over here in Europe, it's the same thing. It's just you don't have that support system. You don't have someone sitting on you every day saying, manage your time, get your grades. No, they're doing their thing because these guys have jobs, have wives, have a life themselves. So they're not going to sit there and tell you every day what to do. And what I'm really trying to harp on here is the bums out here that are failing because they get on a team, they're really good, and they're like, okay, well, I don't have to work out as much as I used to because, I'm in Europe now. And then the next year, they're not as good. And then they're like, well, why am I not getting the looks, or why am I not getting the perks that I should be because I'm this caliber? When I first came to Europe, I played with a guy who was a stud, like in his heyday, but he was on the tail end of his career. And this guy, he would sit at home, eat whatever food, watch movies, play video games all day, go to practice, sometimes not. And then when us younger guys who were working out 3 or 4 times a day, going to practice, taking care of our bodies, when we started, bagging on him, like, hey, dude, your stats aren't worth what you're making, he had a problem. I mean, we actually got into a physical altercation over it, and that's fine. But that's the way that it's been going, is that guys get over here and get too comfortable. And it might not be college, it might not be the NFL, but I promise you, there is still someone looking to take your spot every day. Every rep you don't do, every time you decide, you know what, I'm in Netflix and chill because I'm in this country, I'm in that country, there's some little dude on the other side of the water getting reps to take your spot.
Yeah.
And the fact that some people get so comfortable with the life here, it's Europe. There's a lot of great things you can do outside of football, blase. Get too comfortable if you want to. You won't be here that long. Or if you are here, you're constantly going from team to team trying to get opportunity because you're losing value instead of creating it. Some guys are getting better. Like I said, the Jadrian Clarks of the world, continually going up, getting better every year. And just, a little tidbit, I did research his stats. His first year here, he threw for like 50-something touchdowns, a little bit under 4,000. Then next year went up to like 40-something touchdowns, threw over 4K, and then added an extra 300 or 400 yards rushing. And that was him going from GFL 2 to GFL 1. So what he did was he got a team promoted to the top league, and then the next year came back even stronger. That's what you have to do. Yeah. And we have guys that don't want to do that. And these guys are failing, and they're bringing down the sport. I'm sorry, I'm running on a tangent because I know some of these bums. Oh, yeah. And I hope they're listening. You know who I'm talking to, or you listening to it. So, it is what it is. Sorry. Y'all go ahead. I'm going to calm down.
Nah, I think just, before ending the segment, I just want to follow with Jadrian's, like, for someone who's, with your resume, you've been on some of the top teams in Europe over there. So I guess my question to you is, from team to team and basically what you've seen, you're someone who has seen success. You haven't really failed, but in those teams that you've been on, how have you been able to adjust? Because obviously every organization is different in how they run certain things. For you, how have you been able to adjust, making those transitions to those teams?
Yeah, that's another really good question. I think Coach Dasher, the head coach of the Hamburg Sea Devils, when he came in, one of his first things he told us in the first team meeting really resonated with me. And I guess I've always felt this way too. I just never verbalized it. And what he said was, he's coached in the NFL, he's coached high school football, he's coached college football, and now he's coaching in Europe. And his big thing is wherever he is, he's not changing. He's going to be the same guy regardless. And he's going to coach at the same level. He's going to force his environment to adapt to him. He's not going to adapt to his environment. And that's kind of been my mentality too. Like when I got to Kirchdorf, from day one, I looked the head coach in the eye and I said, we're going to win GFL 2 and we're going to GFL 1. And he's kind of like, we're just going to try and do our best to, win as many games as we can. And it's like, no, if I'm here, I'm going to give it everything I got. And some of those guys probably thought I was a little bit crazy, with my work ethic and the way that I was demanding. If they run a wrong route, we're going to do it again. We're going to be here all night until we get it correct. I would just recommend to other Americans to, be yourself. If that means maybe rubbing some people the wrong way because you expect certain things out of them and they're not willing to do it, then so be it. We all know what it takes to be successful in football, and that's hard work, and there's no substitute for that. Going to different teams, I think, as you said, it's totally run differently in different organizations, and you do have to adapt in some ways of maybe how you manage different personalities. Me being a quarterback, having to be a leader in that role too is even more so. That's important. But yeah, just be yourself and don't adapt to just because no one's telling you what to do, being lazy, just because people are content with running a bad route and whatever happens. No, that's BS. We come from an environment that doesn't accept that. Don't accept it here, and you'll have success.
Have you checked out K Noah's ready-to-wear collection? It's K Noah's top-notch quality, but it's teamwear made custom for you and your team, so you can rep your squad now. All right, that's it for us today on The Scoop. Keeping the locker room talk real, as always. I just want to thank our guest, Jadrian Clark, for coming on today, man. It's really good to talk to you again and kick it and, talk football as we usually do, and also talk life here on the show. We really appreciate you coming on and doing this for us. You're a busy man, about to be in the ELF and become, too big for everybody. But we do appreciate you taking the time today. Just want to say to you, man, whatever you got going, just know that here on Scoop, we're going to support you, man. Whatever you're doing, I know you do a lot of the traveling. I know you've blogged at different times. So if there's anything like that you're doing that you need, a little support from, hit us up. We were talking about this before the show. I got a little bit into graphic design. You need a logo? I got you, man. It's no problem. But we just want to let you know that we support you and we appreciate you giving us this time. And we also want to make sure that you know that you have our support. All right.
Thank you, man. The feeling is mutual. I love what you guys are doing for the sport over here, and you guys are both really good dudes. It was a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Jamal, on you.
Well, most definitely, bro. Sorry, it was a little delayed, but second everything that Pervis said. We appreciate the time. Any shout outs you want to give or talk about anything you got coming up before we head out?
June 20th, man. Big game. Hamburg versus Frankfurt to kick it off.
Already sold out
on TV. It's going to be big. I'm excited.
All right, last thing I'm going to say before we get out of here. If you're on that cryptocurrency, keep doing your thing. And that's what everybody's doing, right? Cryptocurrency.
Dogecoin to the moon.
Yeah, there you go. Dogecoin to the moon. You see, you got to stay up with what's happening. All right. So thanks for watching the show. Thanks for watching it on YouTube or listening to it on podcast channel. Be sure to subscribe to Athletes Forum on YouTube or to American Football in Finland on a podcast network. It's over 25 different outlets. Whatever podcast you listen to, you can get the scoop, okay? And you can get this every week on Wednesdays. Make sure you subscribe to either YouTube or podcast. And then also you can follow us on Twitter at The Scoop AF. We're building, a little Twitter following. Tweet at us, say something. Instagram, you can follow Athletes Forum. And on Facebook, you also follow Athletes Forum because that's where the scoop will be promoted and that's where everything is held, okay? And by following all these channels, you'll have a chance to win teamwear swag provided by our sponsors at K Noah. So be sure to, follow directions in the bottom of the video on YouTube or in the description of the podcast. And you could be one of those lucky winners to win some free stuff. Everybody loves free stuff, right? So you
gotta love free stuff.
Yeah. All right. And that's it for us today. And we'll see you next time, guys.